Where are my thumbs? I am Ray, and if you keep feeling stuck no matter how hard you try, it means you could be running away from the exact thing trying to set you free. You know, on my journey, my early 20s, as I was going out trying to live my life and make my dreams a reality, in the back of my head, I always knew what I needed to do. But there was this something inside me that didn't want to do it. Procrastination. Not good. And I think the same thing happens with all of us. It's like, in the background, the answers are there. We just don't want to look at them. We know what we need to do, we just don't want to do it. And we think that if we can just look away, we don't have to look at the things, then everything's going to be good. It will not be good because things just don't go away. If they are necessary for our healing, for our spiritual growth. It's like the story of Jonah and the whale. One day, Jonah the prophet got a message from God, and God said, "Hey Jonah, it's time to go and preach to the city of Nineveh because they're being bad. And if you don't do this, I'm going to spank them and they're going to die because I've got a big hand." And Jonah was like, well, if they're known for their wickedness, why would I go there and try to mess with them? That doesn't make any sense. I'm not doing that. And so Jonah tried to run away. He ran in the opposite direction and got on a boat. But once he got on the boat, there was big storms and things, crashing the boat, rocking it side by side. And well, eventually Jonah realized, well, it's probably my fault this is happening. I guess you can't outrun God. I guess God is everywhere or something like that. So he told the crew, he said, "Hey you guys, just throw me over. It's all good. God is either going to save me or I'm going to drown miserably. We'll see." And so they threw him over. Guess what happened? Well, he got eaten by a whale or a big fish. Somehow survived that. And in that fish, he prayed and he repented. And he said, "God, I'm sorry. I repent. I'll go do what you ask because, not doing what you wanted me to do doesn't seem to work." So he went to the city of Nineveh after the whale spit him up on the beach. And he went and preached. And guess what? The people were like, "Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. We're not going to string you up and crucify you or nothing like that. We're going to listen to you." So they started to fast. And they repented. And God did not spank them. And Jonah saved, like 150,000 people or something like that. The point is that we cannot outrun our destiny. Things that are necessary for us to grow, things that are called for us to do, it doesn't matter how much we try to escape it. It will always be there, waiting for us. So the longer we avoid, the more storms we will have to face. And sometimes that's necessary. We often find our destiny on the path we take to avoid it. So even if you do avoid it, you can't avoid it. So, well, bye-bye. End of video. Wait, not yet. There's more. Don't you want to know more? And you see, one of the best ways to kind of discover what it is we are avoid, is that we go into the void. Wow. In other words, we communicate with our unconscious. Because God is in there. Did you know this? God is in the unconscious. And through the unconscious, God will speak to you. Sometimes in the form of automatic spontaneous thoughts. So for instance, something's coming from the unconscious when it's automatic. You don't have to think about it. You didn't ask for it. It just happened. That is how you know you're tapping into your deeper intuition or your instincts. Whereas if you're trying to think about it, you're looping on it too much, then it's just probably your little ego. Smack it away. Get out of here. And one thing we have to understand is that not only are we being guided by hundreds of millions of years of evolutionary instinct, but we're also being guided by God itself. Everything is trying to help us. And yet, how do we experience life? It seems like everything's trying to kill us. I don't know what this guy's talking about. It's a strange man wearing thumbs. You see, if you didn't notice, your unconscious is the intelligence of your body. And that is where the millions of years of instinct come. And so, It's basically trying to keep you alive. Its main purpose is survival and to perpetuate the instincts. So, it's always trying to guide us in our next step in our evolution so we can survive. Because it is precisely our inability to adapt that gets us killed. As Mr. Darwin said, it's not the strongest, it's not the most intelligent, it's those who are most fit. Not fit like me, although I am fit, but fit in terms of adaptability. Think about it this way. Imagine just going through the void of time, just space, and things are coming at you. It's like a linear, almost like time travel or something like that. Or you're traveling through space with a spaceship, and you're approaching a square. A square. And you got to go through the square. And the square's not moving, but you're moving really fast toward the square. But guess what? You're a circle. You're not going to fit in the square. And so if you aren't able to adapt yourself to a square, you're going to get hurt. And this is what happens, is that as life changes, as life evolves, we stay stuck in our ways. And that prevents us from evolving. And the more we stay stuck, we just keep banging our heads against the square, or whatever shape it is. We suffer, we stay stuck. And that is why we don't move on to our next level sometimes. It's because we have to remold, reshape ourselves. And that requires growth. And growth sucks for a lot of people. Because with growth, with change, this is death and this is suffering. You like being a circle, you don't want to be a square just yet. But you have to die to the old self in order to become the new. So it is precisely our inability to face discomfort and change that prevents us from everything we truly desire. It's the ego. The ego is the one that is stuck in its ways. Its whole game is just playing it safe. Funny enough, it's like there's this little, I wouldn't say battle, but the ego is the part of our survival instincts that tries to keep us safe, that doesn't want to move and expand and wants to just be very conservative. But there's a deeper part of us that understands the importance of being able to adapt and change and grow. So we kind of have to decide which one are we going to listen to. The little ego or the deeper intuition, the deeper wisdom. And the good news is that, we don't have to really spend all that much time trying to figure it all out. Because life is already telling us straight up. Life is very direct and sometimes subtle. But if you pay attention, you'll see where we need to grow. Because, the problems will be made manifest in your outer life. Whatever problems you got going on in here, they will be reflected out into the world. So all you got to do is pay attention. Where am I struggling at with life right now? What areas could I improve? What things in my life are unfavorable? What do I not want anymore? And so, your desired life is over here, and your current life is right here. And no matter how hard you try to squeeze in, it's not going to work. You shall not pass. But the moment you just begin reshaping yourself little bit by bit, you become a square. Now you can go through effortlessly. Takes a little bit of pain, a little bit of growth, a little bit of change, but it's worth it. Because, it's just a little bit discomfort up front for heaven on the back end. And it's a false heaven up front of feeling good to stay the same. I don't have to change. Yay! But then you just stay stuck and miserable in the long term. So don't be fooled by these illusions. Just because something seems like hell up front does not mean it won't be heaven later. And just because something seems like heaven up front does not mean it won't be hell later. You must have wisdom, discernment, the swords of discernment. Wield them wisely. So back to the void we shall go. Sorry, little buddy is out of commission. I don't know where he went. He's probably on vacation, getting himself into trouble again. So here's a practice I encourage you to try. It's called automatic writing. Get out your little journal, and you want to you can split it into two sides, but On the left side is for you, the ego or the conscious mind. And on the right side will be for your unconscious. And how this works is that, well, you begin just asking yourself questions. You begin writing down, and what you'll find is that as you start writing things down, you'll start getting automatic thoughts, spontaneous thoughts that arise. And once you finish, bam, don't think about it, just start writing over here. Allow your unconscious to communicate back with you, and you will understand things that you weren't previously aware of before. And you'll be surprised, like, wow, I can just talk to myself like this. And you don't need to judge yourself of whether or not it's accurate. You can reflect later. But just, write some stuff down. If you truly sit with yourself and ask yourself, what am I avoiding? Your unconscious will tell you. Seek and you will find, but often we don't seek because we're running away. We're avoiding the darkness, we're avoiding the void. The void. As it is said, what we are looking for is where we least want to look. It's like the story of the Knights of the Round Table, where they all went and searched for the Holy Grail, which is, it's the good stuff. It's heaven, it's love, peace, joy, abundance, the elixir of life, whatever you want to call it, God. And they all arrived at this dark forest, and they thought, well, it's probably in there. And so each man went into the forest in the place in which it seemed darkest to them. And this is what we're doing here. There's a labyrinth of our mind, a maze, in which at the center is the gold. But we cannot find the gold unless we enter into the maze. And if we can reframe the problems in our life, the darkness, if we can realize that the void is not bad, and the light is not better than the darkness, if we can realize that the highest truth is that both the light and the darkness are equally important, then we can stop fearing the darkness so much. Because we realize that, well, it is the way forward. Not to become the darkness like Darth Vader, but to learn how to wield it. Because if you think about it, darkness is the force of destruction. So if you cannot wield the force of destruction, then it could destroy you. It destroys a lot of people all the time. But the moment you know how to wield dark energy, well, then nothing can destroy you ever again. Because what else is there? There's nothing else. There's only the force of destruction, and that's it. The light's not going to destroy you. I mean, it can destroy all that you're not. Destroy your illusions. The point is that so long as we fear the darkness, it will run our life. We'll be a slave to it. But the moment you look at it, then you become free. It's like the boogeyman. The boogeyman's in your closet or underneath your bed. And now you're afraid and you're worried, like, oh, I can't sleep. But if you think about it, the boogeyman is just an illusion. It only exists in your imagination. The moment you shine the light of your awareness underneath your bed or in your closet, the illusion disappears because it never existed. We believed it into existence. Is the boogeyman true? No, it's not true. But is the boogeyman real? Yes, it is real because we believe it to be real. And so we experience it as real. Same thing with all of the darkness, all of our problems, all of our struggles. Are they problems? They are real to us. But the higher truth is that they are guiding us. They are revealing where we are stuck. What is preventing us from living our best life? What is actually preventing us from heaven? It's like you become Batman. You don't run away from the darkness. You use it as your ally. You must be Batman. Perhaps we can all be Batman together. You think darkness is your ally. You merely adopted it. I was born in the darkness, Big Daddy. You see, why most people live a lukewarm life is because they get comfortable. They get comfortable with things as they are. But things never stay the same. And so a lot of people, they set themselves up for misery. Because all that we have will change and fall away. The only true thing to do is like in The Hobbit or in any hero movie ever. Is go on an adventure. The adventure of life. We must break free from our comfort in our little hobbit house and go and explore the world. Go and explore life. And yes, there will be danger. There will be dragons. But there will be gold. Don't you like gold? And the fact is, as well, if you don't go on an adventure, you're going to settle for something else. Because we have this fundamental drive in us to live and grow and expand. And if you're not doing this in the world, you're just going to turn to things like video games or internet things or fantasies and delusions. A lot of people sacrifice their dreams on the altar of practicality. Of, well, that sounds nice. Dreams and all that. But I've got bills to pay. And I've got mouths to feed. And ain't nothing in this life for free. Well, what do you want me to say? Go on an adventure. Go and experience life. Because when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be talking about bills. You're going to be talking about the adventures you did or did not go on. Your experiences with the people you love. What we're talking about here is living your best life. Not lukewarm. Not like this coffee. You need to be hot. Maybe cold. Both. Extreme. And balanced. The middle way. Which means we must become masters of the darkness and the light, creation and destruction, because life is the balance between these two forces. And what happens a lot of the times is that we're so attached to life. We're so attached to the side of the equation of creation and expansion. We don't want to contract. We don't like death. We don't like the darkness. Doesn't matter if you don't like it. You learn to love it because you realize that, well, not liking it is just an illusion. It's just surface level discomfort. Think about it like being awake and being asleep. You can't just be awake all the time because then you wouldn't live. And that's not good. You gotta sleep sometimes, but you don't hate sleep. So there's no reason to hate the darkness, even though on the surface it can be scary. If you really think about sleep, it's like, oh my God, I'm entering into the void. What if I don't come out? I don't mean to fill you with existential dread about sleep, but if you really think about it, it's a pretty interesting thing. But the fact that we sleep every night, we're desensitized to it. It's not a big deal. Same thing happens with the darkness. Once we expose ourselves to the darkness, once we look at the boogeyman, try to search for it, we realize it doesn't exist. And the fear falls away because the fear was an illusion to begin with. It's like the analogy of the rope and the snake. Imagine you're just walking around on the street and you look at the corner of your eye and you get scared and you jump like 5 feet. Well, because you saw a snake and then you do a double take. Where's the snake? And then you realize, oh, it was just a rope. Was the snake real? The snake was real because you believed it into existence for that moment. But it was only real in your imagination. It wasn't true. The true nature of it was a rope. And that is what the darkness is like. The forces of the demonic. They are illusions. But we believe them into existence through our fear. And the only way to overcome this is to face the darkness. To face what we have been avoiding. Because through the light of your awareness, you dissolve all illusions. But if you run away, you'll always have that imaginary fear lurking in the background. You keep it alive by running away from it. Imagine if you're always running away from the boogeyman since childhood. Oh, the boogeyman could be still in the closet. I don't know if he's gay or what, but a gay boogeyman chasing you forever? Not good. Sleep with one eye open tonight because he could be coming for your cheeks. Or you could protect your cheeks and realize that the boogeyman does not exist. Only exists in imagination. And the moment you stand up for yourself, you're being chased and then you turn around and you look. Oh, who's chasing me? Where is this gay boogeyman? You look and you see, it's just a shadow. A mirage. An illusion. You're being chased by your own shadow. The illusion dissolves and you become free. And you're no longer held hostage by these fears, by these illusions, by the darkness. I am Ray, and if you're tired of feeling stuck in the prison of your own mind, I created a 90-day step-by-step program to help you break free from the grip of negative thoughts, overthinking, rumination, excessive worry, for good. Much peace and many blessings, and remember, just be.